Welcome to Hayden Winter Outdoors. I'm Hayden Winter, and today we're going to go over the Nock On thumb button release. This is made by Carter, so sometimes I'll refer to it as, but it is through Nock On, and it's their thumb button release. This is the brother pretty much to the Silverback, which is their back tension release. As you can see, they use the same sort of body shape, obviously one being tension activated, one being trigger activated. So being a Carter made, it's high quality. The fit and finish is great. It is very nice trigger on it. It isn't the best. One thing I've found with these, and I think they do say it somewhere in the manual, is put some gun oil into the trigger mechanism and it will be a lot smoother. When I first got this, I did buy this secondhand, so maybe that was the issue as well. It was a lot more sandy in the trigger, like it was a bit crunchy. But now it's very smooth. The ergonomics of it, being the 2-finger, is quite nice. I have tried the 3-finger as well. It sits in your hand fairly nice. One of the big advantages I found with this is it pretty much gives you the most draw length that you can have out of a thumb button release. Being so close to your knuckles there, the mouth of it, it gives you all the length you need, and we all need length, so it's a big advantage there. One of the disadvantages, and you'll see I've modified this one, is I find them quite slippery, especially when you sweat. We live in southeast Queensland in Australia, which is quite a tropical sort of environment, and we hunt also up north in Cape York as well, and places like that where you get quite sweaty. The finishes on these are quite slippery. I've had these feel like they're slipping. I run higher poundage bows as well, which might also add to the problem. But I've added a bit of grip tape within the holes, which do help. Also helps just adding, if you manipulate with your finger there, it just helps you with that as well. One of the biggest disadvantages, and I've seen this multiple times, I've done it. The first time I picked up one of these, did it straight away. Seen a mate do it. I've seen others do it that are just starting off. On a say an ultra view release, you can pretty much hold your thumb back there, pull it back, and you can't hit the trigger. Like, it's very hard to hit the trigger until you wrap your finger around it and hit the trigger. These Carters or Nock Ons, you pull back, that's barely any pressure, and it's pulling the trigger. These are the #1 release I've seen misfire. It is it is scary. The last guy who I said did this, he nearly threw the trigger out because he did it 2 or 3 times in a row. The other issue I found with these is the adjustment in that trigger tension. It pretty much goes from all to way to you can't fire it within 1 rotation. So I found it quite hard to adjust trigger tension on these, because I think you can replace the springs in these. I'm not too sure which gives you more or less trigger tension. But when you're first messing with these, it's quite confusing, because if you're used to another type of thumb release, these have really small adjustment windows. There's also the tension, the keeper screw in there that you got to remember. But yeah, the big disadvantage to this release is you have to really watch your thumb where it goes. You want to wrap like pretty much all the way around from that trigger. You could probably also, if you wanted to draw like that, you could jam your thumb into the back of the, but do not add any, like even that, like even if I was to like hold the bot, or just hit just enough back tension there, like that just trigger together as well. It's a real gripe with these that I found, and it can be quite dangerous. So please be careful if you decide to go with one of these. You really have to keep that thumb well out of the way of the trigger. Unlike these ultra views, I've had a mate who pretty much now has an index in his thumb because he just jams it up in there. I used to draw mine like this. You can draw it like this. Like, you can quite, like, I'm trying to trigger this thing from the back and I just can't. Like, it's super hard. You can run your thumb over that, it ain't triggering. I run my thumb over that, it triggers. So it's a real gripe, especially because of the limited tension on it. People seem to love running releases hot, and as soon as, if this is on low tension, this is cranked up quite high for the tension adjustment on it. If you run this on the lower side of the setting, you will just breathe on this thing and it will go off. Look, apart from that, it is a very, very nice release. It has good crisp trigger. It gives you a lot of draw length. You can steal, you know, 1/4 to 1/2 inch of draw length out of this. It's in the hand well, and would be one of the releases I would. So, if you're looking at one of these Nock Tuits or Carters, please give me a message. I'll try and help you the best way I can. But until then, thank you for watching and cheers.